In this video, we're going to see the risk management capabilities of Codebeamer. We're going to see how risk assessment works, the risk type of tracker and its features, like the risk matrix. We're going to see a different type of risk management like FMEA, and then we're going to take a look at how to export these results to Office using templates. In Codebeamer, there's a risk type tracker that is especially supporting risk management. These risk trackers are containing all the necessary fields for easily managing risk items and risk mitigation during the project lifecycle. If we take a look at the left side here, we have the risk assessment tracker, so let's take a look at that. Once we open it, there is no big difference here in this view compared to the other trackers, so let's open a risk. Here in the risk, there are specific fields designed for risk management. For example, the hazard, the harm, the risk likelihood, severity and criticality, and also the likelihood after reduction, severity after reduction, and risk after reduction. In this scenario, the risk criticality is a computed field, so these values can be easily calculated by using the built-in computed field feature. The other great advantage of using the risk type tracker is the risk matrix diagram. If you click on the More button, we have the option for the risk matrix diagram. So let's take a look at that. The risk matrix diagram shows the number of requirement items according to the risk likelihood and severity values. As you can see, the functionality draws a matrix where the y-axis is going to be the likelihood and the x-axis is going to be the severity values. Before we jump into that, I'd like to mention that on the left side here, we can see the current tracker and all the other related requirement trackers. If the current tracker is a requirement or a user story tracker, there are more related risk type tracker, a selector appears, so you can filter the result by any risk tracker. Now let's take a look at the middle section here. We have two matrices visible here, one for the initial risk, and the second one is for the risk after the mitigation. These are going to use the values that we saw previously. First one is going to use the initial values, and the second one is going to use the second values that we saw below the initial values, which is after the mitigation. So usually we are hoping for a better result after the mitigation. Here we see 1/1, both in the high for the severity and the likelihood as well. So I can click on that to take a look at the details. It's going to exactly tell me which risk is there and which requirement it's connected to. Same goes for the other one, where it says 1/0, because for this risk, there's no requirement attached. So this is something that should be corrected. After the mitigation, we can see that our risk, that was both high in likelihood and severity, is mitigated to the low in both cases. Now let's take a look at a different scenario in another project. For our second scenario, we're going to use the Automotive template. From this, we're going to go to the trackers, and we're going to use the Design FMEA tracker, which is again a risk type tracker. So I'm going to open up one of our FMEAs and walk you through the details of it. As you can see, this is a bit more complex, but let's go through the different phases and take a quick look at them. So first of all, we have the planning and preparation. For this, we have a few attributes like status, modified by, assigned to, etc. For the structure analysis, we have our focus elements, both with the next higher and the lower level element. For the function analysis, we have our focus element functions, and similarly, the next higher and lower level function. For the failure analysis, we have the failure effect, the failure mode, and the failure cause. For the risk analysis, we have also different attributes like severity, occurrence, and detection rates. And lastly, for the optimization, we have the safety action and other different values like severity after optimization, or occurrence after optimization, or detection after optimization. Out of these values, we have the optimization value that is lower than it was before. So hopefully it's going to be a successful case. The reason we went through this template or this record is that we also have the option to export these, and we also have the option to use templates to create these exports. And in such cases, when you have complex risk analysis like this, It might worth creating a template so that your data is going to be structured as you wish when you're doing the export. Before we do the export, let's see how to store the templates. So for that, I'm going to navigate to the Documents tab. And here we have a folder structure that consists of the .codebeamer folder, templates folder, trackers folder. So I'm going to go to that trackers folder. Inside there, we have our FMEA Automotive Excel template that we already uploaded. By clicking on that, we have the option to download it and modify it, but we also can check the properties and see all the change history and any other details. So now that our template is uploaded to the documents, I'm going to go back to my tracker, go back to Design FMEA, and select the export option. I'm going to export it to Office. We're going to choose Microsoft Excel, and down at the bottom, we're going to select the Use Template option, and our template is going to be automatically visible. It's indicated that the template is in the documents. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to leave everything as is and hit Export. Now, the download started immediately. So let's see the result. I'm going to open our document, and here we can see the result with color codes and with both our FMEAs, both our FMEA records exported, included all the details that we had. Of course, this template is customizable and you can always create your own template.